Welcome back to a new episode of Wheels of History. Before diving into today's topic, we invite you to subscribe to the channel if you want to see more videos like this one. For you, it's just a small gesture, but for us, it's vital to continue sharing stories of the people and machines that defined an era. Today, we're telling you the story of the Aermacchi Chimera. In the landscape of Italian motorcycles of the 1950s, Aermacchi ventured into uncharted territory, fully fared motorcycles. This choice, in some respects, might seem like a bold challenge, if not outright risky. Yet, despite past failures in both Italy and abroad with similar attempts, Aermacchi's leaders were undaunted. In their vision, the fairing wasn't merely an aesthetic indulgence, but an opportunity to create something new and prestigious that could attract an audience seeking exclusivity. The company didn't just follow the lead of others. With a courage few have displayed in history, it decided to tackle the challenge with great determination. They opted for a popular engine size, the 175cc, but with a four-stroke engine to reflect the elegance and class the company aimed to bring to the market. The engine needed not only to be powerful and reliable, but also to match a meticulously designed appearance, to create a motorcycle that was as beautiful as it was functional. Aermacchi brought together some of the brightest minds in the industry. Leading the charge was Mario Revelli de Beaumont, a prominent Italian automotive and motorcycle designer. Revelli had a background as a racer, winning the nation's Grand Prix in 1925 on a GR500 motorcycle built with his brother Gino. He later transitioned to automobile design, collaborating with major Italian coach builders such as Farina, Ghia and Pininfarina, as well as international brands like Rolls-Royce and Maserati. After the war, he designed innovative vehicles, including the Simca 1000, and in 1952 moved to the United States to work with General Motors. Upon returning to Europe in 1955, he made history as the designer of the Aermacchi Chimera. A professional also active as a professor at the School of Applied Arts and Design in Turin and the Art Center in Pasadena, Revelli was tasked with the stylistic design of the project. His approach combined aesthetics and functionality, knowing full well that a fully fared motorcycle could not afford either excesses or compromises. The design had to be sharp, aerodynamic, yet supremely elegant. Not coincidentally, Revelli's automotive experience informed his belief that the design must reflect the personality of the vehicle, a motorcycle both powerful and mysterious, like the name chosen for the project, Chimera, suggested by Revelli himself. The name Chimera was emblematic of the personality of this motorcycle. It was not just any name, but a nod to a mythological figure, complex and fascinating, which perfectly reflected the character of the machine taking shape. The Chimera was meant to embody this spirit, a fusion of diverse elements, a unified creation designed to win the hearts of enthusiasts. The project, despite its ambitious foundations, was not without difficulties. The first stylistic sketch was drawn by Revelli using the prototype of a horizontal cylinder, two-stroke 125cc motorcycle that would never enter production, the Corsaro. The engineering of the engine was entrusted to Alfredo Bianchi, one of Italy's most experienced designers, who had previously worked for major companies like Alfa Romeo and Parilla. With the help of Francesco Botta, a foundational figure at Aermacchi since his youth, Bianchi developed a 175cc four-stroke engine. While not the most powerful displacement, it proved perfect for Aermacchi's goal to offer an elegant yet high-performing motorcycle without going overboard. This model not only broke away from the understated lines of previous Italian motorcycles, such as the Motom Delfino and 98, but it also bore a design heavily influenced by the American tendencies that Revelli infused into the Chimera, endowing it with moldings and embellishments that gave the model a distinctive character. Two elements stand out in the design of the Chimera: the large tunnel enclosing the engine, which served to channel air for cooling the cylinder while also protecting the rider from potential oil leaks, though increasingly unlikely by then, and the fuel tank that extended to the rear wheel, supporting the seat and fender. This design, with its horizontally striped color scheme, gave the motorcycle a dynamic and sleek appearance. The bodywork, made from ribbed die-cast lightweight alloy, also functioned to reduce vibrations, thereby improving comfort and stability. The engine, a creation of Bianchi and Botta's ingenuity, was a horizontal cylinder inspired partly by the Moto Guzzi school. With a displacement of 172.4 cc, it featured a forced lubrication system with a dual pump for oil delivery and recovery, an innovation that enhanced reliability. The engine produced 10 horsepower at 6,800 revolutions per minute with a bore of 60 mm and a stroke of 61 mm. The compression ratio was 7:1, making the engine robust yet highly efficient. The engine head was made of lightweight alloy with bronze valve seats and guides, while the fuel system relied on a 22 mm Del Auto carburetor. The primary transmission used helical gears to drive a multi-disc wet clutch, which transferred power to a 4-speed gearbox. The gear ratios, 2.91 for first, 1.76 for second, 1.27 for third and 1.0 for fourth, ensured a well-distributed power output. The Chimera's frame consisted of a single steel tube running from the steering head to a short vertical element that supported the engine and the swing arm. The rear suspension system was innovative for its time, featuring a single hydraulic shock absorber mounted above the rear frame, while the front used a commercially available telescopic fork, not specifically designed for the model. The brakes, also made of lightweight alloy, were drum type, with a diameter of 160 mm at the front and 140 mm at the rear. The 17-inch wheels were fitted with 2.50 front and 2.75 rear tires. In terms of performance, the Chimera achieved a top speed of 120 km per h, meeting period expectations. The bike weighed around 120 kilograms, which was relatively heavy but did not hinder its excellent maneuverability and satisfactory performance. In November 1956, at the Milan Motor Show, an event intended to revolutionize the Italian motorcycle scene, Aermacchi unveiled its new creation. The Chimera immediately made an impression at the show. The specialized press, both in Italy and abroad, devoted extensive coverage to the motorcycle, praising it as one of the year's most groundbreaking innovations. Its futuristic aesthetics and design captured everyone's attention. However, as often happens, the market reality did not follow the trajectory of enthusiasm generated at its presentation. Despite Aermacchi's initial expectations, the Chimera did not receive the anticipated acclaim. Dealers, who had been trained and indoctrinated to promote the new model, soon faced tepid and uncertain demand. Price was not a barrier, although the Chimera cost 10,000, 20,000 lira more than competitors like Benelli, Bianchi or Ducati. Italian motorcyclists were willing to pay for an exclusive bike. The cause of the failure lay in the bike's aesthetics, which concealed the mechanics. Dealers reported that many customers, upon seeing the model, complained, "You can't even see the engine," or "Where's the engine?" The Chimera, with its enveloping bodywork, was too far removed from the traditional image of motorcycles cherished by Italian riders, who were accustomed to seeing the engine prominently displayed, yet the engine was highly respectable. Francesco Botta, who accompanied the prototype to the motor show, remarked that his motorcycle was too new to be accepted. As a specialized magazine wrote in 1957, the Chimera was one of the happiest expressions of inventive fertility, combined with an exquisite sense of art applied to machines, but it also intimidated a large number of potential users who found it too demanding and far removed from their habits. Another factor hindering the Chimera's commercial success was its exclusion from competitive racing. The fairing, banned by the rules of speed and endurance races, deprived the model of a significant appeal to sport motorcycling enthusiasts. The motorcycle, intended to capture the hearts of enthusiasts, encountered a different reality, a stubborn preference for motorcycles that showcased their mechanics, that spoke the language of tradition and sportiness. Its beauty and originality remained over time as a testament to Aermacchi's courage and vision, but they were not enough to capture the collective imagination of Italian motorcyclists of the era. The Chimera ended up evoking a certain awe. Thus, Aermacchi's management realized that, while maintaining technical solidity, the bike needed modifications to make it more accessible. The 1957 Salon provided the opportunity to present the new variants to the public, which garnered more interest precisely because of their more sober and traditional aesthetics. The response was to create two nude versions, the 175 alla bianca and the alla azzurra, which, in addition to removing the fairing, also lacked the monocross. The Chimera 250 was also introduced where the displacement, torque and power were increased. "Perhaps we were scared too soon," clarified Botta, emphasizing how the Chimera, once the initial impression of its innovative design was overcome, could have received more attention. It was a bike that offered a comfortable ride, with a reduced vibration engine and a body free of resonances. The braking was excellent, and the few units sold had never generated reports of mechanical issues. However, it was the Nude version that gained public favor, especially the 250 Alla Azzurra, which offered higher performance with an engine capable of delivering 12 horsepower at 7,200 revolutions per minute, compared to the 12.5 horsepower of the more powerful Chimera version. In 1958, the prices at the Milan Salon were as follows. The Chimera 175 was sold for 255,000 lire, the Alla Bianca for 220,000 lire, the Alla Rossa for 245,000 lire, the Alla d'Oro for 320,000 lire, the Chimera 250 for 265,000 lire, and the Alla Azzurra for 245,000 lire. Despite this variation in prices, the total production of the Chimera, between the 175 and 250 versions, was significantly lower than expected. The numbers are uncertain, but it is estimated that about 300 units were produced between the two displacements, a number far from what Aermacchi had aimed for. The attempt to relaunch the model with the Nude versions had borne some fruit, but not enough to ensure a solid future for the project. The growth in sales was insufficient to offset the industrialization cost of the Chimera. However, the Chimera did not go unnoticed in the history of motorcycling. Despite this failure, the Chimera's design continued to inspire, with the first example being the Perilla Slughi. The Nude versions, on the other hand, were more successful, with around 6,500 units produced between 1957 and 1967, many of which were shipped to the United States, where Aermacchi had partnered with Harley-Davidson since 1960. Despite international recognition, with critics from around the world praising the Chimera as a sublime expression of Italian inventiveness and design, the bike failed to find the right balance between innovation and tradition. The Italian public, still deeply rooted in a more practical and sporty view of motorcycles, was not ready to embrace a bike that hid the mechanics from view. We stop here and, as always, remind you that for engine parts and rubber components for Aermacchi and other vintage motorcycles, you can find them on the website thekingofpiston.com. Though the wheels keep turning, the stories remain. Every bike tells a journey and unveils an era. Until the next stop, always on two wheels and with a piece of history.